Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
Well, another nice October morning, and I'll set you up for today's show, which is the Bank First Ranger Hour on this Thursday. Well, we're all doing well, North Mississippi. Here's what we'll do today. Women's basketball coach LaTaryl Williams joins us in the next segment. Basketball season is upon us. They've already had a couple of exhibition games. We'll chat with him about that, see what he has seen in his team so far, and then get you ready for the regular season, which begins on a Saturday, November 1st. So Coach LaTaryl Williams will talk women's basketball with us. And then when we're done, it's our friend Dr. Blake Bostick. He runs the Heindl Center for the Performing Arts. Have you seen the spring schedule? If not, we shall discuss. And it is a good one. And there's some fun for everybody in this one. Lots of great entertainment coming through North Mississippi. And we will get with Blake in the second half of the program, and we'll give you all of the details and spend a lot of time with him at the end of the program. We've got Northwest football tonight, and then tomorrow, dress accordingly. It'll be somewhat cool throughout those football games coming up. So let me tell you a little bit about Northwest sports before we hit the break, and then we catch up with women's basketball coach LaTaryl Williams. Football tonight for Northwest is in Goodman. The Rangers right now have moved their way back into the top 5 and still have that opportunity with their 2 regular season games left to go to not only make the playoffs but still win the North Division here in the state of Mississippi. After losing in Scuba on September 11th, they've reeled off wins against Coahoma, Northeast, and Mississippi Delta within the North and the Conference, and also one against Southwest Mississippi. But the final 2 games, tonight against Holmes, and then next Thursday at home against Itawamba, are 2 of the 4 teams that are at the top of the North standings right now. Itawamba has the lead at 4-0. Northwest plays them next week. Holmes, East, and Northwest are all 3-1. So 2 weeks left to go. 4 teams to decide a couple of spots in the upcoming community college playoffs in the state of Mississippi. They hold their own destiny. It's right there in front of them. Tonight, against Holmes, you would separate yourself there, and then it's Itawamba next week. Big one for Coach Benji Parker and company tonight. NWCCRangers.com. You can keep up with live stats, or you can find the place where you can go to Ranger TV and you can watch tonight's game from Goodman. Tyler Springs and company will be there. And hopefully Rangers coming away with a win. Northwest 6-1 overall. Holmes just 3-4 overall, but 3-1 inside the North. They have won the games in the conference. We'll keep up with that one and tell you more about it tomorrow. Volleyball lost yesterday and stopped another long losing streak, but at 28-5, they have 1 regular season game remaining. Sophomore night in Senatobia on Monday. Northeast comes over from Boonville. 6 o'clock is the match time for Coach Burchett and the volleyball squad. And then it will be the MACCC tournament beginning Wednesday of next week. And so on it goes with a Region 23 and maybe a chance to get into the championships for the Northwest softball team, who's had an unbelievable year. They're 28-5 after a loss that happened yesterday in Decatur against East Central in 4 sets. And so they finish up with sophomore night on Monday. Hopefully you can attend. And then we've got soccer coming up as well. The women's soccer team bouncing back after their first loss in a long, long time. They won at number 7 Jones on Tuesday, 6-1. They got angry just a little bit. So they'll take on Southwest Mississippi in the final regular season home soccer match tomorrow at 5, and then finish up their regular season next week at Colin. And the Northwest men are trying to get off a 5-game losing streak. They'll have Southwest Mississippi tomorrow night at 7 at the Ranger Soccer Complex. But basketball season is about to get here, and we're going to start talking about that in just a moment. But I do have a couple of other things to mention, one more in the sports world, which is the women's athletic teams at Northwest received a nod from the Mississippi Institutions of Higher Learning, and they took home the Hallbrook Award for Academic Achievement. They share the title with Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. No, with Jones, excuse me. Jones and Northwest women had the highest percentage of academic achievement for the women's division, focusing on graduation rates. Northwest saw a 100% graduation rate in their women's sports teams. 29 ladies graduated from all of the sports at Northwest. If it was time for them to graduate, they did so at NWCC. Tremendous honor there. And then shout out to Dr. Keith Reed. He's been on the program before. He is the Dean of the DeSoto Center. He's been named as the South Haven Chamber of Commerce 2025 Man of the Year. We need to talk to the Man of the Year, don't we? Shout out, Dr. Reed. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to the Women's Athletic Department. 100% graduation rate, 29 graduating from the base number. And, of course, they're doing great things in all of their sports, too, as we tell you each and every Thursday. Women's basketball had a couple of those graduates. We'll talk with their head coach coming up next as we get you started on today's Bank First Ranger Hour. Coach LaTaryl Williams gets us kick-started with our first guest on today's program. It's a Thursday, October 23rd.
This hour is Everything Northwest, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College, and powered by Bank First. Thanks for joining us on the Bank First Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
In our second half of the program, we'll bring in Dr. Blake Bostick. We're going to talk about things from the Music Man to the Blue Man Group, Larry the Cable Guy, their musical acts. There's a lot of different things coming on the Northwest campus and excitement there at the Heindl Center, so we'll break into all of that. We'll also have coming up on the Northwest campus here very soon, another sport gets cranked up. We'll be in the Howard Coliseum watching some hoops soon. Women's basketball coach, longtime friend, LaTaryl Williams on the program. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, G. Darls. How you doing, sir?
We're all right. I saw you around the square at Square Jam the other day, but there was one or two more people in the crowd before I could get to you. So I know you're out and about and doing things, and at the same time, here we are getting ready for another basketball season. I want to start here because the story that I finished going into the break was on the entire women's athletic group and graduation. And those that were up for it graduated in the women's program at Northwest. We've talked about academics as part of this show, whatever, right? Normal quote students, and then that student athlete, and you two, along with the other coaches, really stressed that student part of the student athlete. You want to brag on your group as well?
I do want to brag on our group, man, because since we've been here, we've had 100% graduation rate within our program, and looking at the numbers from that award, I actually think we won it because I looked at the numbers, and they had us down for 2 student athletes to graduate last year, but we actually had 3 which would take us over Jones. So we can go back and recalculate that, man, and see what's going on, because I think we might have won that thing outright.
See, basketball coaches in those numbers, aren't they? You're not gonna let that. You're not gonna let that slide.
Not gonna let that slide, man. Especially you talking about winning an award, and you talk about one or two numbers here and there. You want to make sure you count all the numbers and get the figures right before you make that decision on who won the actual award. So, but it's a testament to all of our women's programs and men's programs as well. We have a unwritten competition going on here on campus. You know, I look at our GPA. We have a team GPA goal of trying to get 3.0 or higher. You know, last year I think it was at 3.33, and I felt really good about that. And then I go to our athletic director's office, and he has the numbers on the board, and we're like 6. I'm like, Lord have mercy, we got to step it up, ladies. You know, the volleyball team and soccer team and men's football, and, you know, everything they're like at 3.7, 3.8. So, you know, 3.3 sounds good, but when you compare it to everybody else, man, we got to step it up.
Well, and I'm sure they'll meet the challenge, and that's the fun part that I know all of you coaches have together, and these athletes pulling for each other, whether it's on the field of play or in that classroom as well. Do you have the momentum going? You think this program is going where Coach LaTaryl Williams wants it?
It is. I think the last 2 years we were able to make postseason play. The year before, we actually finished 5th or 6th. I really can't remember. And we had the program going the right direction this past season. We had a lot of freshmen. So we had 13 freshmen on the roster, only one returning starter, but we were still able to make postseason play. And so we returned those freshmen that are now sophomores now, 3 returning starters. So we feel like we have the formula set up this season to take that next step in the postseason play.
What have you seen so far, whether it's been practice or some of these exhibition games? And I know you had things happening on campus here recently, but what have you seen on the court?
I've seen some really good things, some really positive things. Some of the mistakes we made last season with that lack of experience, we started to see those changes being made, the correction over the summer and just getting the girls to understand what we expect from them on a daily basis. With 13 freshmen, you kind of got a group that doesn't really understand what's going on and don't have the real leadership that is necessary to get those young ladies playing, a certain way. But now they've been here under our program for a year now, and they get an understanding of what we expect from them. They get a taste of what it feels like to play in this tough league. So we saw some really good things this past weekend over in a jamboree in Memphis. And then we also held a jamboree on Tuesday here on campus. So we played 4 games in total. We went 3-1 and saw some really good things. We cleaned up some things from that loss we had. And then now we're just trying to get everything fine-tuned and get ready for next week. I'm
sure. I'm going to say this without, having seen anything. Your team's going to push it, get up the floor, and there might be a 3 taken somewhere along the way.
It definitely is going to happen. One of our main objectives is to push the pace and control the pace. Anytime a team scores, we want to take it out quick and push the ball in transition. Even on a miss, we want to push it in transition. So we want to get early looks in transition. We don't get anything like that. We're going to pull it back out, organize our offense, and look inside to our all-conference player, Lauren Story, and make sure that she touched the ball once we get into a half-court set.
Go ahead and expand a little bit, even if it's on her, but the roster, in fact, and some of the names that we need to watch when we're in Howard Coliseum.
Well, of course, Lauren Story, she jumps off the page, all-conference player as a freshman. Only player in conference play to average 15 points, 10 rebounds. On the season, she averaged 14 and 9, has a few D1 offers. She's going to be one that you definitely have to have your eyes on, the whole time, because she's going to demand so much attention in the paint. But then, you got 2 more stars that returned from last year's team. Takira Bland, 6'1", 6'2" freshman. Last year was very talented. Now she's a sophomore. She's better shaped, has a better understanding of what we expect from her. averaged 10.7 rebounds as a freshman, so she still was very productive. So we see her numbers actually improving her sophomore year. And then our star point guard, who gets everything going for us. And, Layla Hampton, and I love this kid. She just understands how to play the game at that position so well. Push the ball in transition, gets everybody in position to make plays, and also has the ability to get her own bucket if she needs to. So we really are relying on her to be a floor general, another coach out there on the court. And if she gets going and get everybody in the right position, we should be very dangerous.
What about your depth as far as that is concerned? Because obviously you got to have that, push each other in practice, and as you mentioned, this tough schedule in the state of Mississippi, you're going to have to need, a few of these ladies coming off the bench to do some things.
We do, man, and that's one thing that I've tried to establish anytime I'm coaching. Just have some depth coming off the bench. A few ladies that right now that we played 4 games so far. They have really showed some really good signs coming out the bench for us. Mari Lockhart, the daughter of Raheem Lockhart, a good friend of ours, she brings in some size and versatility. She can stretch out and shoot the three. She can go inside and post up. So she's going to bring some valuable experience and versatility to our forward and post position. And then from a guard standpoint, freshman Destiny Bogan, right here from Senatobia, Mississippi. I've been very impressed with her coming off the bench. She's someone that we signed her. We knew she was a hometown kid. We knew she came from a really good program under Coach Jones at Senatobia High School. So we knew she would be ready mentally to play at this level. But I've just been so impressed with her physical approach to the game. She's very good at getting to the paint and scoring, really good in transition, and can also make the open jump shot from the perimeter. So I've been very impressed with those two coming off the bench.
Coach, besides the teams in the state of Mississippi, I guess you're challenging yourself too with trips to Texas and different things going on. So, you got the early group there that we'll see a couple of games in Senatobia, but then that trip to Texas ought to really be a challenge against Trinity and Blinn.
Yeah, we have a tough one. Actually, before we play those two, Three Rivers is going to be a tough game. I mean, they're nationally ranked. They've went to the Final Four the last couple of years. They come to us on November 10th. So, before we play Blinn and Trinity Valley, we got to deal with a really tough Three Rivers team on our home court. So that's one thing I want to try to do this year was give us a real tough non-conference schedule. We got Trinity Valley, who's been one of the bell horses in this NJCA women's basketball for years. We had them twice this year, along with Three Rivers and Kilgore, who went to the national tournament as well. So we're going to test ourselves early, see what we're made of, but all that's going to get us ready for our tough conference play that starts in January.
Excellent. Before I let you go and we start talking about things in the Heindl Center, I'm hearing news of a three-point contest that went on. Would you like to expand a little bit?
Well, I made a lot of shots over here in Howard Coliseum in my heyday. So, we had the Meet the Rangers event on Tuesday night, and one of the things on the schedule was a three-point shootout between the men's coach and the women's coach. So, Coach Revin and I, we went toe-to-toe on a three-point shootout. And let's just say, the Hall of Famer came out on top. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I thought Coach Redmond did a good job. He really pushed me, and he made some shots. But, when it gets to winning time, and we're right here at Howard Coliseum, I think I've had the nod over him because I played in this gym and shot in here many nights.
Yeah, but Coach Williams, a shooter going to shoot no matter where they are.
Yeah. So also, man, I want to give a shout out to you as well, you and Murphy, man, your new position with Ole Miss basketball.
Yeah, thank you.
DK's stepping down, scaling back, and then my guy, the Dukester, is stepped down. So I think the Rebel fan base will, I won't say be in good hands, but definitely good ears with you guys on the radio.
I appreciate that. Two really athletic-looking individuals taking over. As the combination, when you throw me right next to Murph, size-wise, we're right there together, right?
Yeah, man, you can't tell the difference. It's like watching the movie Twins, man. I
Dude.
can't tell you apart. You know, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Dan DeVito. I can't tell you guys apart, man.
Exactly right. I can't wait. We're actually there's an exhibition game for Ole Miss on Saturday, actually Sunday morning, against St. Mary's at 11:30. Murph and I are going to get our practice run in, too, and we'll get going. But I'm really excited about it, and I appreciate that coming from you. I think we're going to have a good time with it. Can't wait to catch up with you. It is, November 1st, your first regular season game?
November 1st, we're on the road at Bishop State. It's going to be another difficult test. You know, they lost a lot of players from last year's team, but you know, it's going to be their home opener. They signed some really good freshmen. I got a couple of transfers that are pretty good. So it's going to be a good test for us, just opening up on the road and see where we are from that standpoint. But I like our starting five. We're really strong with Layla Hampton, a transfer from Mississippi Gulf Coast to Kyra Mitchell, who's really good. She's an all-conference player as a freshman. Starting at the other wing spot is Zoe Metcalf, Terrence Metcalf's daughter. Super athletic, just a beast on the perimeter, and then along with Bland and Story, I think we got a really strong five to get the season kicked off.
Coach, thanks for joining us this morning.
No problem, G-Dog, man. You have a good one, man. I'll catch you guys on Sunday. We'll be there.
Sounds good. Thank you, friend.
No problem, man.
That is the women's basketball coach, LaTaryl Williams, Northwest. I had not put the Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger thing together, right? But he's right. Little me and a all-SEC power forward. But we're coming at you starting on Sunday. Great stuff on that women's basketball team, though. Absolutely. Listening first and foremost, with the academic things that they have done, and then moving into the world that they're going to be playing basketball here starting Saturday, November 1st in Mobile against Bishop State. The first home basketball game on the regular season is on Tuesday, November 4th at 5:30 against Dyersburg State. Let's hit the pause. You're going to listen to the Bacon Brothers going into the break. They're coming to Toby. We'll talk about that with Dr. Blake Bostick next.
Many times I've tried to tell you, many times I've cried alone.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on SuperTalk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
When Dr. Andrew Dale sends me the guests, so he tells us who we're going to get, and I get ready and do that. He was so right with his email this week. He's like, an hour's not enough. You don't have enough time, but here are your two guests. And I think knowing the fact that Coach LaTaryl Williams and I have known each other since he was in high school and I was a little bit older and doing some games and whatever, and now this man, Dr. Blake Bostick, and everything that we have to talk about with the Heindl Center. Blake, we don't have enough time, but I've got you a good 15 or more minutes for us to get into what's going on. How you doing?
Good morning, G-Darb. Doing well, my friend. And, I'm excited to talk about what we got coming up. All my secrets are out there, and I could talk to you all day, but we'll pack it into the next 15 minutes or so.
That's right. So we'll throw it in and just get started. And first of all, it's kudos. I know it's a lot of hard work, and I know you had to do different things to pull this off. I don't want you to comment. This may be the best collection of things at the Heindl Center in a 4 to 5 month period. I am really excited about this spring.
Well, man, I am too, and I think it's definitely going to be a spring season for the books. I'm excited about all the things we have going on, but we really do have an exciting lineup coming starting in January. So I'm excited to talk about it and to let folks know how they can be a part of it.
All right, kickstart us off. Let's go month of January. What we got?
All right, well, kicking off our spring 2026 season at the Heindl Center. On Sunday, January the 18th, we have country music royalty Pam Tillis and Lorrie Morgan coming together for their Grits and Glamour tour. People probably remember hits from Pam Tillis, like Maybe It Was Memphis, and Lorrie Morgan's, what's the name of the song? Except for Monday, that's the one. And they've partnered up. They've been doing this kind of on and off for a while, and so it's really cool to have these veteran country music ladies come and do a great show for us to kick off our season on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So you can go to church, grab some lunch, come to a show, and make it home for dinner time. And it's going to be a really fun afternoon with Pam Tillis Lorrie Morgan. Then a couple weeks after that, the last day of January, on a Saturday night, we have the professional Broadway tour of Meredith Willson's The Music Man, which we're very excited. We've done quite a number of professional Broadway touring shows here since we opened. This is the first one we've been able to get on a Saturday night, which I think will be great for folks who want to come down, maybe from DeSoto County or come up from Oxford and, have a little drive, but then it's a Saturday night. So, it's a lot easier to make it here with your family for that Broadway show, The Music Man, on January 31st.
I have to be honest, as I was going through things, and I was trying to pick out some music, and eventually I played the little Bacon Brothers ditty there before we went into the break. I got into I started sitting and watching The Music Man on the computer here. It was like, okay, you got to stop. You got to get ready for the show, in watching and continuing. And obviously, people, you can find the music out there, but it is really exciting to get that. So quite the January, and then we move into the next month. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got one season show in January. We have a tradition of great celebrity guest speakers here, and I don't think they get any bigger in North Mississippi than who we have coming on Friday, February 20th. Archie Manning, the man himself, is going to come and talk to us, give us a Q&A, talk about his life and legacy and lessons he has learned, and, of course, those Super Bowl champions that he has fathered. And so, couldn't be probably a bigger deal to have someone like that in North Mississippi, Mr. Archie Manning.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Right. Obviously, from Drew in the Mississippi Delta, and then on into his fame himself, Archie is always so good in these Q&As too. I think humble gentleman, but I think you'll enjoy listening to that, my friends. And it only continues, bringing even a little Vegas type similar thing in March, right?
Yes, sir. Vegas comes to Senatobia on Wednesday, March the 18th, for a show that has been in the works for really since before I got to the Heindl Center, and we are so excited to be having none other than Blue Man Group live on our stage. And, Blue Man Group's been around a while. They do Vegas shows all the time, and I think everyone who has seen Blue Man Group knows just how big of a deal it is to have a show like that in Senatobia, Mississippi. It's a great combination of music and art and color, and man, it is going to be so cool to have Blue Man Group here on March the 18th. And
then we're going to get her done.
We are going to get her done. 10 days after that, we had Mr. Foxworthy here a couple years back, and we thought, we need to bring his friends. So we got Mr. Leary, the cable guy, Mater himself, coming to the Heindl Center for a great night of stand-up comedy on Saturday, March the 28th. Going to be hilarious. Going to be a lot of fun. Probably a bit of a PG-13 show,
right?
But certainly going to be a lot of fun and some great comedy there.
Yeah, I was as you were talking, I was thinking that's right. He was Mater. That I was like, I probably shouldn't take him.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
That might be mostly for the adults.
I'll be there, and then can't wait for April the 21st also.
Yeah, April the 21st. That night we've got Riverdance. Of course, they've been around for I believe 30 years. Because that's right. This is their 30-year anniversary tour of Riverdance. So that'll be a great night, fusing Irish dance and music. We did Celtic Woman, another Irish show for Christmas last year, and we thought, man, we really love this Irish Celtic type stuff. So we thought, let's bring Riverdance to town, and so it's going to be a really fun night too on April the 21st with Riverdance 30, the new generation.
And then finish it up there with the music we played earlier, and of course they'll do a lot of different things with the Bacon Brothers.
Yes, sir. Friday, May the 1st is our final show of the spring 2026 season. We have A-list Hollywood actor, the man himself, Kevin Bacon, and his brother Michael. They've been doing music together as the Bacon Brothers for quite a while now. They have quite a number of albums, and it's so cool to bring such a recognizable name and face here. Like you, I've been listening to some of their music recently. I like to pregame for the shows, put together a little Spotify playlist, and kind of know some things, when they get here. And their music is really cool. It's kind of a fusion of different genres, and so it's really cool to have Kevin Bacon, his brother Michael here for the Bacon Brothers concert on May the 1st.
I can't tell you, there have been several that have, whether it's just on my personal phone or just in seeing me, that has mentioned this group that you have, and trying to figure out, they realize I can't make them all because there's a little distance, but they can't decide which package they might want to buy, right? Because they don't want to leave any of them out, in the acts that you have. But we do have those options, right? The ability to kind of pick some things together and put them together as packages in case we can't make every event.
Yeah, we certainly do. Of course, we love for people to come to every event, but we know that that's not possible for everyone to do. So we do have quite a number of options. So starting this Monday, October the 27th, our full season ticket package goes on sale. That's all 7 shows. When you buy all 7 shows, you get the same seats for all of them, and you get a 10% discount. We also have a 6-pack option. So if you can make 6 of the 7, you can still get those starting this Monday. You can choose to opt out of one, still get that 10% discount. A couple of weeks after that, though, so we have basically this 2-week period for people to buy the big package like that, and they kind of get first dibs at their seats. But then starting on November the 10th, we have a Pick 3 package that goes on sale. So you can still get that 10% discount. You just wait a little later to pick your seats than the people who are buying, a bigger package. And then a week after that, of course, on November the 17th, all of our individual show tickets for Spring 26 go on sale. And so, you can get the big package, the smaller package, or even just individual tickets. And I got to say, it's hard to believe the holiday season is right upon us here. I think, Halloween is sort of the new Black Friday ringing in the holiday season. So show tickets make great gifts. So we're going to be on sale in time for the holidays, and encourage folks to get their tickets at HeindlCenter.org or visit us here in our box office on the Senatobia campus Monday through Friday, 12 to 4:30, or just give us a call and we can take care of you.
Here's the thing, go ahead and buy you some season tickets, people. I'm going to try and spend people's money right here, Blake. Everybody,
Absolutely.
buy you some season tickets, and you can give them to friends if you can't go. You can
Absolutely.
give them off as a present or whatever you need to do, or just say, look, I can't make it. Please, will you go? Because there are a lot of people out there that I know do those very same things, so that we can get the people in there and continue with these great acts and things that continue to come through the Heindl Center. What else do we need to... Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we all have so much stuff. It's like, what do we buy the person for? We'll buy them an experience.
Yeah,
to make
sure.
them a great gift, and you can give them memories, to be made for a lifetime there, instead of just stuff that they're going to forget about. You give them a lifelong memory. So yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the few remaining things that we have left in this season, because we still got great things to come in the next several weeks as well. Do I have time to mention those real quick?
You definitely do.
Great. Well, next Wednesday, October the 29th, we're going to show the movie Wicked on our big screen. Last chance for people to see that on the big screen before the sequel comes out in a few weeks in November. So that's only $5 a person. Great opportunity to bring the family out for a movie night. Then on November the 7th, our next to the last season show for Fall 25 is bluegrass legend Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder. Going to be a really fun night with Mr. Skaggs and his band. Ricky's been doing his thing forever and is really just a legend in the music world. So a lot of fun to be had with Ricky Skaggs, November the 7th. Also, wanted to mention, because my kids told me I had to when I talk to you on the radio next time, the weekend of November the 14th through the 16th, we have a community theater group called the Mid-South Academy for Children's Theatrics. they are doing their production of Annie Jr. on our stage.
Nice.
And my kids are in that play, so I'm a little partial. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what else we got. Coming up, our last season show is a great Christmas show on Friday, December the 5th, with Postmodern Jukebox. I know we've talked about that on the air before, but Postmodern Jukebox is a group that does modern songs in a retro style, so they do things in like doo-wop and swing and Motown style. They even encourage people to dress in vintage attire, so it's going to be a really nice way to ring in the holiday season on December the 5th with Postmodern Jukebox. And then on December the 14th, we always like to show a great Christmas film. Again, the films are only $5. We're going to show Elf on the big screen, and that'll wrap us up for 2025.
Tremendous. And it's okay to be proud father. It's definitely okay to be proud father and do that. I've got the oldest youngster in his school production. I know that as we were talking about, I think Panola Playhouse has got Beetlejuice Jr. going as well. He has small little parts in things going on in the middle school production with a lot of different kids, which is awesome. So it's okay, Dad, for you to go ahead and be sure we get that in. And what are they doing? Give that time and date again for the kiddos.
Yeah, so that is the weekend of November the 14th through the 16th, and we do occasionally rent the theater out when schedule permits. We had DeSoto Family Theater here for Newsies a few weeks ago. So this is called the Mid-South Academy for Children's Theatrics, and they're doing Annie Jr. on our stage for, I believe, 3 shows that weekend, and all 3 of my kids have a role on the Heindl Center stage that night, which they're really excited about. So it definitely will be a fun weekend with that community theater group.
Great. All right, so remind us again, tickets on sale starting Monday for all this, correct?
Yes, sir. Season tickets go on sale Monday. There's a 2-week period to get those before anybody else gets a shot. Then on November the 10th, pick 3 packages. November the 17th, individual show tickets for all of the spring 2026 shows. So, like I said, people can buy those online at HeindlCenter.org. Come to the box office Monday to Friday, 12 to 4:30, or just give us a call. We'll be happy to take care of you and take care of all the ticket needs that people have, because it's going to be one for the books this spring. So we hope folks will get some tickets and come enjoy these fantastic shows we have upcoming.
Thank you for what you do, sir.
Thank you, Gary.
Dr. Blake Bostick with us today, director at the Heindl Center for the Performing Arts. What a group, huh? And you got something for everything. You like country music? We got it. You like big shows? We got the Blue Man Group. You like musicals? We've got that. You like comedy? You got that. You want to hear a sports legend and figure and family name? Archie Manning's coming. You got it all, friends, at the Heindl Center for the Performing Arts. Go to the website, get ready, figure out what you want to do, and then Monday, get those tickets and get ready. But don't forget, there are still events and those things going on for the rest of this calendar year 2025. HeindlCenter.org to see all of that. And we thank Dr. Blake Bostick, and we thank LaTaryl Williams, coach of the women's basketball team, for our show today. And Bank First, who continues to power every Thursday. And another Ranger Hour goes in the books later today. Anywhere, if you're a podcast person, you go and find a podcast. The Bank First Ranger Hour should be there. And maybe you missed the conversation on women's basketball with Coach LaTaryl Williams, or you missed a portion of what we were doing there with Dr. Blake Bostick. Wait for the podcast and listen to it all. Another great show. Thanks so very much. Don't forget, too, big football game tonight for the nationally ranked Northwest Rangers. They're in Goodman, taking on Holmes, and that actually is showing up on the schedule at 3 o'clock. So not a nighttime game. That's what I'm seeing. Nonetheless, I encourage you to go to NWCCRangers.com to keep up with that. And you can watch, listen, keep up with the stats and everything. Again, this football game and next week really are the playoffs already for our Northwest football team, because wins will get them in. And a loss in either of those two, we might have to get the analytics out to figure out all of the back and forth that is going to go on between the four teams, Northwest, Holmes, Etowamba, and East Mississippi. Nonetheless, today against Holmes. All right? Good show. That's got to do it for us here. Our show's done. Thanks for being with us. Gary Darby. So long.